Your brain is literally shrinking right now. Not because of age. Not because of genetics. Because you stopped challenging it. And the most dangerous part? It doesn't feel like anything is wrong. It just feels like random Tuesday. Think about what your days actually look like. You wake up. You check your phone before your feet hit the floor. You move through your routine on autopilot, the same commute, the same lunch, the same scroll and sleep cycle, and somewhere around 11 p.m., that quiet voice shows up. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just this low hum underneath everything. Is this it? Is this really how I'm spending my life? You still have the vision. You still have the version of yourself in your head, the one who's disciplined, focused, building something real. You haven't forgotten about them. You've just stopped becoming them. And the gap between who you are and who you said you'd be? It's not closing. If anything, it's getting wider. And every time you notice it, you do the one thing that makes it worse. You consume more content about fixing it without actually fixing it. You've read the books. You've watched the videos. You've started the habit tracker 3 separate times. And you're still here, feeling stuck, wondering what the thing you're missing actually is. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what is happening inside your brain when you stop growing, why the stuckness has a neurological explanation, not just a willpower one, and what it actually takes to snap yourself out of it. Here's what the neuroscience tells us. Your brain operates on a principle called neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire, adapt, and form new connections. But neuroplasticity isn't passive. It only activates under one condition: challenge, struggle, novelty. Without it, your brain doesn't stay the same. It prunes. It cuts off the neural pathways it isn't using, a process called synaptic pruning. Your brain becomes more efficient. But efficiency and growth are not the same thing. Efficiency means doing the same things faster. Growth means doing new things at all. And right now, if your life has no new hard things in it, your brain is quietly, systematically becoming less of what it could be. That's not a metaphor. That's biology. Here's what nobody tells you about your comfort zone. It's not a mindset problem. It's a neurological rut. When you repeat the same behaviors every day, your brain builds a deeply grooved neural pathway. Think of it like a hiking trail through tall grass. The more you walk it, the more the grass flattens, the easier it becomes, and eventually, you stop choosing the path. You just automatically end up on it. This is what Charles Duhigg describes in The Power of Habit as the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. Your brain loves this loop because it's efficient. Low energy cost, reliable outcome. The problem is, once your entire life becomes one giant automated loop, you stop being the driver. You become the passenger, moving through your own life without actually living it. Here's the trap nobody talks about. The more automated your life becomes, the safer it feels. Routine reads as stability. Repetition reads as control. But underneath that feeling of control is a brain that's slowly losing its range of motion. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your day is actually chosen, and how much of it just happens to you? This is the part most people completely skip, and it's the exact reason nothing changes no matter how much content they consume. Your stagnation isn't a discipline problem. It's an identity problem. In Atomic Habits, James Clear makes the case that real, lasting change doesn't come from changing your goals or your habits first. It comes from changing who you believe you are. He calls it identity-based change. And here's why it matters so much here. Your brain doesn't just process information. It processes information through the filter of who it already believes you to be. If your internal story is, "I'm someone who starts things but never finishes," your brain will go looking for evidence to confirm that. And it will find it. Every minor slip, every abandoned project, every distracted afternoon gets filed away as proof. Meanwhile, the wins, the progress, the genuine effort gets discounted. You've been thinking about this completely wrong. You've been trying to change your behavior while keeping the same story about who you are. That's like trying to drive somewhere new while refusing to change direction. Think about the last time someone paid you a genuine compliment on something you created or accomplished. What was your first instinct? To receive it or to deflect it? To say, "Thanks, I worked hard on that," or to immediately explain why it wasn't actually that impressive. That's not modesty. That's an identity protecting itself. Now here's where most people completely miss it. And this next part, this is the one thing I genuinely wish someone had told me before I wasted years being busy without actually going anywhere. Cal Newport, in Deep Work, makes an observation that should make every person who lives on their phone deeply uncomfortable. He argues that the ability to do genuinely hard, focused, cognitively demanding work is becoming rarer at the exact same time it is becoming more valuable. Here's what that means for your brain. Every time you reach for your phone mid-thought, every time you switch tasks before finishing one, every time you choose the quick dopamine hit of a 30-second video over sitting with a difficult problem, you are training your brain to be incapable of depth. And a brain that can't go deep cannot grow. Because growth doesn't happen at the surface. It happens in the uncomfortable, uncertain, foggy middle of a hard problem where you don't know the answer yet. That's exactly where new neural connections form. That's exactly where you become more capable. Your distraction habit isn't just costing you time. It's costing you your ability to think at a level that actually changes your life. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sat with a genuinely hard problem for more than 15 minutes? Without picking up your phone, without switching tabs, without looking for an easier version of the question? For most people, the honest answer is, they can't remember. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Your brain is not waiting for motivation to start growing again. It's waiting for evidence. David Goggins talks about this in Can't Hurt Me through what he calls the accountability mirror, the practice of being brutally, unflinchingly honest about the gap between who you are and what you're actually capable of. Not to beat yourself up, to wake yourself up. Because most of us have gotten very skilled at lying to ourselves in the most comfortable direction. Your brain responds to proof. Small, undeniable, repeated proof that you are someone who does hard things. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, finish the workout, close the laptop, do the uncomfortable thing you said you'd do, you deposit into what Goggins calls your mental bank account. Real self-confidence isn't built from affirmations. It's built from a track record you've actually earned. The reason you don't fully believe in yourself isn't because you lack talent or intelligence. It's because you've been making withdrawals, breaking small promises to yourself, for so long that the account is overdrawn. Growth doesn't start with a big decision. It starts with one kept promise, then another, until your brain has enough evidence to update its story about who you are. Imagine 6 months from now, not a version of your life where everything is perfect, but a version where you feel like yourself again. Where you go to bed with that quiet satisfaction of knowing you actually moved forward today. Where you're not just consuming other people's lives through a screen, you're building your own. Where a hard challenge doesn't make you shut down, it makes you lean in, because your brain has been trained repeatedly to sit in discomfort and come out the other side more capable. That is not a fantasy. That is what a brain being actively used feels like from the inside. At the start of this video, I told you your brain was shrinking, not from age, but from the absence of challenge. And that's still true. But here's the reframe. It means the opposite is also true. The moment you start introducing genuine challenge, depth, discomfort, new hard things, your brain begins to rebuild. Neuroplasticity works in both directions. You haven't lost your potential. You've just been living in a way that hasn't been asking anything of it. Stop feeding your brain the easy path. Not because difficulty is noble or suffering is virtuous, but because the trail you've been walking, you built it, and you can choose to walk somewhere new. The only question is whether you'll actually do it this time. Drop one word in the comments right now, just one, that describes how you've been feeling lately. No explanation. No context. Just the word. I want to see it. And here's the thought I want you to carry with you after this video ends. The most dangerous thing in your life right now isn't failure. It's comfort, quietly wearing the mask of stability.